So here what you see is what's called a facade, okay? So these pipes are all original to the original organ instrument, but no actual sound comes out of them. They're mostly for decoration. So we walk over to here, and where you see this kind of vent thing and that one, up there, that is where the instrument of the organ actually lives, okay? But all of the sound and the combinations come from here, okay? So the organ has 3 keyboards, okay? These are called manuals, okay? This is called the choir or the positive. This is called the grate, and this is called the swell. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a wider angle view, okay? Most of the time, you're gonna see organists playing on the grate because it's the greatest, okay? These things over here are called stops, and they all have different names that show the kind of different sounds they make. The interesting thing about the organ is that when you play it, you have to learn how to say all the instruments in many different languages, because since the organ was created mostly in Europe, not everyone there speaks English. So for instance, this right here, the hautbois, is French for oboe, and that makes an oboe sound. Okay? But if you don't know what a hautbois is, you won't know how to make an oboe sound, right? Okay? Over here, let's see. What's another one we might need to know? The corde de nuit. That is sort of like a flute, okay? Mantra is another flute type sound, okay? So you have to make sure that you know a lot of different words for a lot of different instruments so that you can actually play the organ, okay? All right, now moving on. These things up here with the numbers are called pistons, okay? Now, remember, like I said, musicians are lazy. We don't like to do a lot of work. So the pistons help us to set different settings on the organ. So if I zoom out here, let's say I want to make a loud sound, I would press number 12. Watch what happens. Boom, all of these things pop out. You can set these things in advance to make the sound that you want. So this one sounds like this. It's quite loud, right? Now, just like a computer, if you want to go back to where you were, you just press cancel. Watch what happens. Boop. And now no matter what I do, no sound will come out, because when you cancel it, it shuts off all the air from the pipes, okay? If I want to make a soft sound, one of my soft settings is number 9, okay? So you can kind of see how only a few little shifts happen, and number 9 sounds like this. It's very quiet. Okay, so it's a little bit more flute. Okay, now I'm going to cancel again. Watch everything go back. Choop. Okay. All right, the cool thing about the organ also is that the pedals down here are also their own keyboard. This we play with our feet. So I'll show you a little bit here. Let's see. So I'm gonna press my piston, out they pop, and I can go like this. Okay, please excuse my feet. Now, this is something important. If you play the organ, they make special organ shoes to play on the foot pedals, but you know Miss PE does not do shoes that are not cute. And organ shoes, usually, not very cute. So I usually just play in my socks. Shh, okay? All right, so that's a little bit about how the organ works. Okay, so you've got your manuals, your stops, and your pistons, okay? If you've ever heard the phrase, pulling out all the stops, that comes from the organ, right? When you pull out all the stops, it means you go all the way. Everything is on the table. You're ready to go. Kind of like in the organ, if you pull out all the stops, it's going to make a very, very loud sound, okay? The last thing I want to show you today is probably my favorite button of all. This button here, this is called cymbal, which is German for cymbal. But in other places, it's called Cymbal-Stern, which means cymbal star, and it sounds like this. It's magic, okay? And you can leave this on the whole time you play, or you can turn it off. And now I'll cancel, and it'll stop, okay? So the cymbal is one of my most favorite sounds on the organ because it sounds like literal magic, okay? So you've got your manuals, your pedal keyboard. These things down here help to make the sound louder or softer, right? So if I close them like this, you'll see these lights go off. That means there's no extra air going to those manuals, so they're gonna sound much softer. But if I open them up, you'll see the light come on, more air will come, and it will sound something like this. So here they're off. I'm gonna press my piston, right? Now, the one is on, but the other pedals are completely closed, right? So they're all off. I'm gonna show you what happens as I open them up, right? Okay, so you see how it kind of gets louder as you go, the more air you give. And the other cool thing about the organ is that because it works with air, you literally can hold down the note forever. It will never stop until you turn off the instrument, okay? But the other thing that makes it a challenge is that because you use the pipes to make the sound, you can't really do dynamics like our loud and soft sounds. So you have to use these stops or the register to make the sounds for you. Okay, so that's a little bit about how the organ works. And now if you'd like to, you can go to video number 3, which will be my performance of a song I Think You Will Like.